Hello everyone, I'm Dean Blevins and welcome to this week's Eddie Sutton Show. The Big 8 regular season is over. The Cowboys, as you will recall, were projected to finish 6th by the experts in the Big 8 Conference. They finished tied for 2nd in the conference, 19-7 overall, 8-6 in conference play. And Coach, has to be something you're very proud of. Although there's much more to play, you're pleased at this point.
I'm proud of the success we've enjoyed in the regular season, and we came within one basket of finishing 2nd. And just one game behind Kansas. They beat us 74-73 in a terrific game Sunday afternoon. But when the season began, I don't think any of our fans would have thought that we would finish as strong as we have and have the record that we have today. But I think it's a real credit to our assistant coaches and to the effort and dedication that our young men have put forth this year. It's been a fun year. It's been a season that is always pleasing to a coach when your players have surpassed what everybody thought they were capable of accomplishing.
Did you think when the preseason rankings came out that was way off, or was there one thing that was a key to turning it around?
No, I really felt that when you looked at the experience that all the teams in the Big 8 had returning, and you looked at our basketball team, we had a lot of question marks, and it was very easy for me to see why you guys, meaning the media, selected us to finish in 6th place. But I knew that we had potential. I knew we had some young men that had the talent, and if they would listen to the coaching staff, then we had a chance to be a pretty good basketball team. And by the end of the season, the last 3 weeks of the year, most of the time we were a good basketball team.
Coach, it was last Thursday. Oral Roberts rolled into Stillwater to Gallagher-Iba Arena, and it was Ken Trickey's final ball game as head coach of the Titans, and your team racked up some big numbers, scoring 114 points.
Very unique game, I might add. I've been in some strange contests. As you said, this is the most points I've ever had a team score, and I've had players score, 2 players in one game score 30. I think Joe Klein and Alvin Robertson did that at Arkansas, but I've never had a team where 3 guys score over 30. And that's what happened in this ball game. We had Fred Burley with 35 points, Bryant Reeves with 31, and Brooks Thompson with 33. 99 out of 114. Milt Brown had 11, so 4 players scored 110, and then we had 2 other players score 2 apiece. So very unusual scoring. And I might add that Oral Roberts played very tough for about 30 minutes of the game and hung right in there. They've got some good offensive weapons. They gave up points fairly easy, and that's the reason we scored so many. But very good game from the fan standpoint, because normally you don't see that type of contest in Gallagher-Iba Arena.
We'll talk about the ORU coaching situation a little later, but Ken Trickey, a fellow you've competed against for years.
Well, Ken Trickey has coached a long while and had a very rough season. The worst record that Oral Roberts has ever compiled, and I guess they saw fit that it was time to maybe make a change, and we will talk more about that, because a young man that's done a great deal here at Oklahoma State for us is the new coach at Oral Roberts University, Bill Self.
Bryant Big Country Reeves with the jam there a moment ago, down low to Burley with the soft jumper. No question about his offensive skills from day one.
Fred was 11 out of 16 in the game and scored 35 points, hitting 13 out of 14 free throws, and he is a very good offensive player, but he's becoming a better defender and a better rebounder. In the Kansas game, we felt that he did a very good job defensively. So that's one of the reasons our team has gotten better. Everybody talks about Bryant Reeves and how much he's improved, and the backcourt play of Thompson and Rutherford, but Fred Burley has certainly developed as well. Good lead pass in there to Country, and he flushes it down. And there's a good shot of some of our fans celebrating, and there we are walking off the floor, and there's Ron Arthur, one of our senior managers, with the game ball. And I might add, Ron Arthur and Kevin Smith are our 2 senior managers. We have 3 other guys, but we honored those 2 along with our 2 seniors in our game on Sunday. And oftentimes student managers are not appreciated. We've got the best I've ever had any place I've ever coached, and they do a great deal for our program.
Very friendly guys, and they put in a lot of hours. Next up, the Kansas Jayhawks rolled into Stillwater. Little different situation. Kansas is playing very good basketball. Coach, they come in ranked number 8 in the country, and some guy named Rex Walters that had struggled a little earlier in the year came alive.
He did come alive. unlike it was against Oral Roberts where points came easy, they came very difficult in this game because Kansas plays terrific man defense. There you see an overplay, and Reeves drove to the basket. They call it a blocking foul, and it came close to being a charging foul. He hit the basket, the free throw. The first half, the tempo was a little bit quicker than we normally would like to see with Kansas, and they were on top 47-43 at intermission. But if you were not emotionally involved in this game, Dean, this was a great college basketball game. It went around the country from a regional standpoint. I had people call me and write me and said that they thoroughly enjoyed the game, and really they had no emotional attachment to Kansas or Oklahoma State. Both teams played with great intensity. Both teams shot the ball well. The defense was tough, and for the most part, not that many mistakes. And it was a game that, had it not been for Rex Walters, we would have won probably 4 out of 5 times. But Roy Williams told me after the game that Rex played the best that he'd ever seen him play since he came to Kansas. Late in the game, when it looked like we were going to be in control, he came down and hit some big trays and really rallied his ball club. Just a terrific game, and just too bad we had to lose.
Rex Walters, a career-high 27 points. Kansas had 56-47. Or excuse me, OSU was ahead. You had a 13-0 run, and then Kansas came back late to nip it.
That's when Rex started hitting those trays. For the game, Country was unbelievable. They double and triple teamed him, and still he came up with 28 points and 9 rebounds. Burley shot the ball well, had 17. Our guards did not shoot well. Randy Rutherford was still nursing a very tender ankle. Brooks Thompson had the flu on Saturday, so they weren't at full speed. And it did show up in their shooting. They were 5 out of 19, and had they shot a little bit better, we still would have won the game, even no matter how well Walters played. We hope we get a chance to play Kansas in the championship game this week in Kansas City, but we've got to take care of Missouri first, and then either OU or Iowa State in order to have that opportunity.
All right, that's 2 weeks in a row. Last week you said you wanted Oklahoma in the tournament. You could have the Sooners in the semis and could very well have Kansas in the finals. And
our biggest concern right now are the Tigers.
Missouri, that's right.
Missouri, this is their only way to get to the NCAA is to win the Big 8.
And here you are, Coach, at the last 5 seconds of the ball game.
Well, we set up a play, and it was a well-designed play, and it would have worked had Randy Rutherford not fumbled the ball when the ball was first entered. Then that delayed the timing of it, because if he'd caught the ball, we were going to jam it inside the Country, and he was open. He had gotten Richard Scott on his hip, and it really was in a position to make an easy shot. He kicks the ball back out to Scott Sutton, who had thrown the ball in. Scott made a good pass, and Fred Burley had flowed over a little too far and had taken Jordan into the paint, and Jordan made a good defensive play, got up and just deflected the pass. Just a little bit better, and it would have been 2 points for us as the buzzer goes off, and the crowd would have gone crazy. But unlike it happened, or it did happen, we lose by 1 point.
Well, Kansas, certainly great defense there. And, you know, after the game, Rex Walters was quoted as saying, and he's been the preseason pick to win the MVP, but he said, hey, Big Country Reeves had a great game today, and throughout the year he has posted the numbers. So Rex basically said Bryant Reeves is the Big 8's best player this year.
He is the best player and the most valuable as far as I'm concerned. There's no player that has meant as much to their basketball team as Bryant Reeves. You could take Walters off a Kansas ball club, they would still be very good. You take Bryant Reeves off our team, and all of a sudden we lose a lot of ball games that we were able to win. A young man that has made remarkable progress, leading scorer, leading rebounder, field goal percentage is the highest of anyone in the Big 8. No one has ever done that in the Big 8 since Wilt Chamberlain. So it's been a sensational year, and I guess by the time this show is aired, it will be announced that either Bryant Reeves or Rex Walters or someone else will be the MVP. We'll keep our fingers crossed that Big Country wins.
All right, lots more to talk about the Big 8 tournament, the NCAA, and much more as the Eddie Sutton Show continues after these timeouts. Player of the week, Coach, Big Country.
Here he is, a good pass into the post area. Look, 3 guys around him, twists around, good move by Bryant Reeves. Here it again, good pass by Vaughn Bennett. You can see they try to triple team him there, and he still is agile enough to get the ball up in the basket. you know, you'd think this is the Bryant Reeves show, but I can't say enough good things about this guy. And one of the reasons that he has gotten so good, he has great work habits. He goes in that weight room with Leroy Youster. He's gotten stronger. The weights have allowed him to become more mobile, quicker, jumps better. Also, I think it gives him confidence knowing that he is stronger. And he goes out on that floor and listens to the coaches. Great student. I think great lesson for young people that if you work hard, you're going to get better. And I think that applies not only to becoming a better basketball player, but most things we do. So I'm very, very proud of this young man.
How did the recruitment of him take place? Not everyone went after him, but I understand Bobby Knight was interested at some point.
Well, Bobby Knight did make a trip to Gans to see Bryant. He wasn't as highly recruited as a lot of players in our state or certainly nationally, but he grew up being an Arkansas Razorback fan. He and his family, and they had seen our teams at Arkansas when we had some quality ball clubs. And so when we showed some interest in him, well, of course, they were interested in us. And from the first time I saw him, I was just intrigued with his soft hands. And when you find a big man like Bryant Reeves who have those soft paws, and if you know that he's got a big Valentine, he's going to have those good work habits, hey, the guy's going to get better. I mean, he is going to get better. And you know, when I went into his home, I was also intrigued just by the wholesomeness of that home and how innocent he was. And I've just, it's really been a joy for me to watch him develop. And if he'll continue to do the same things that he's been doing, by the time he leaves Oklahoma State now, he's going to be a giant of a player.
All right, we'll take a brief timeout. See you in 30 seconds. Oklahoma State's loss will more than likely be Oral Roberts' gain. You lose another assistant, and I say another. You've had 9 of them move on to become head coaches, and the latest, Bill Self.
We're always pleased when an assistant coach is able to get a Division I job if that's what he wants. I tell assistant coaches when they join our program that if they'll come and do the things that will allow us to win, I will teach them everything I know and help them to get ready for the position if it comes available to them. I've had some great assistant coaches through the years, and all of them have done quite well, and Bill Self will do well. Bill Self is ready for a Division I job, and when he went over and investigated the ORU situation, well, I said, you come back and make sure that's what you want, because you don't ever want to take a job unless you're going to go into it 100%. He came back, he said, I'd like to have that position. So then we went to work and did everything we possibly could to make it happen. And it was announced on Monday of this week that he is the new coach at Oral Roberts University, and he will do very well. But it will be our loss. Bill has done a great deal for Oklahoma State University basketball, but he'll build a great program over there, and it makes me very proud that he was able to get that job.
Bill, a fine player at Edmond High School. He played for 7 years here, or has been an assistant coach for 7 years. We wish him the best. Moving on, though, you'll be looking to make a change or two, and the possibility of your son Sean, after a brief stint down in Mississippi, coming back.
It's amazing when I made that statement the other day, how many people have called me, how many people have written me. Dr. Campbell, our president, called me and said, oh, I think that's a great idea. And there's no doubt that Sean is going to be a great coach. You know, I talk to him every day, and we talk about Ole Miss. He's still emotionally involved with the Cowboys because some of his teammates are playing, and you know, he roomed with Country on the road, and he feels like that he's played a part in the development of Bryant Reeves, and he has. But Sean has had an enjoyable year down there with Rob Evans and Russ Pennell at Ole Miss. They just haven't won, and that's been a little bit of an adjustment for him. But there's no doubt that Sean would be a real asset to our program, and he is one that we will give some consideration to, and I'm going to visit with him after the season is over to see if he would, entertain coming back to OSU. He may not want to come back here for a while, but wherever he coaches, he's going to be an asset to the program because he's been around the game so long. In all likelihood, we'll probably elevate Tim Jankovich,
right,
who's been in the limited earnings position coach, and that's the position that Sean would take. Tim is an outstanding coach as well, has been with some outstanding head coaches at different places, has done us a good job this year, and we'll probably make an announcement along those lines soon.
And one other note on Bill Self, he will finish the season here with Coach Sutton and the Cowboys. Stay with us, more of the Eddie Sutton Show after this timeout. As we mentioned earlier, the Big 8 regular season is over, the tournament right around the corner. Let's check out, Coach, the standings as we see them finishing up. Kansas, solid number 1 at 11-3, 24-5, and there are the rest of them.
Look at those teams in the middle, and there's very little difference, as we've said so many times, between second place and the University of Missouri in 7th place. Colorado's even gotten a lot better, but those 6 teams between Kansas and Colorado, very evenly matched, and that's why the Big 8 tournament will be just a marvelous experience for anybody that goes up there to see the games. They're all going to be close.
And speaking of the Big 8 tournament, here is the schedule. On Friday, 4th-seeded Nebraska plays number 5 seed Kansas State in the first game at 12:10. Then Kansas and Colorado in what appears to be the only mismatch, but who knows in the tournament. That one at 2:20. And then in the first game of the evening, Oklahoma State taking on Missouri. That one beginning at 6:10. And after that at approximately 8:20, Iowa State and 6th-seeded Oklahoma. How many teams do you see as we look here briefly? Saturday, the winners play Nebraska, Kansas State, Kansas, Colorado. The winners at the 1 o'clock game. And then at 3:20, the OSU, Missouri, Iowa State winner. Iowa State-Oklahoma winner plays.
And then the championship game at noon on Sunday afternoon.
How many you see in the NCAA?
I don't think you can really say how many from the Big 8 because you don't know what's going to happen in these other conference tournaments. I really believe that there are 6 teams good enough to play in the 64-team field. Now, whether we'll get 6 teams, I don't know. I would think 5 for sure.
We'll take a timeout. We'll have closing comments from the coach after this. Big 8 tournament kicks off on Friday. The Cowboys open with Missouri. Coach, you lose in Columbia, come back home and beat the Tigers. You believe they're a dangerous team, though?
I believe Missouri is a team that has very good players that haven't played as well as probably Norm Stewart and their fans and the remainder of the Big 8 coaches thought they would. When you look on paper at what they have, I think they're very good. I think they're a big basketball team. If there's a weakness, maybe perimeter shooting is not what it should be. When you get past Atkins and Booker, they're a little weak there, but they're always tough defensively. They did beat us in Columbia fairly easy. It took a miraculous shot by Reeves to win here, although we had a 41-26 lead in the second half and let that lead meld away. So we have great respect for Missouri, and I know Norm Stewart's telling his ball club, hey, we want to go to the NCAA tournament. The only way we can get there is to win the Big 8 tourney. So they're going to have them cranked up. They always have a great following there in Kansas City of Missouri alums and fans. So that's what we've been working on all week long, is getting ready for Missouri. Then if we happen to win that game, then we'll worry about OU or Iowa State, the team that we would play on Saturday afternoon.
Coach, less than 30 seconds. You're looking for a top 4 seed, or you say that's really important going into the NCAA tournament. Can you get there?
Well, we're not really looking at the NCAA right now, Dean, but seeding is important because, I don't think people quite realize how important, and maybe next week we'll get into this more so, but we want to win that tournament, Big 8. That's the only legit way you get to the NCAA. Then it's a matter of getting an at-large bid if you don't win. So that's what we're shooting for. Get ready for Missouri.
We'll talk NCAA tournament a week from now. Thank you, Coach, and good luck. For Eddie Sutton, I'm Dean Blevins. Thanks for watching this week's Eddie Sutton Show.